I'm just gonna come around the corner a little bit, and we're gonna get you quite a nice sighting. Actually, sorry, I misjudged a little bit of a step there. If you'll just excuse me for a second, I am just gonna actually do like this. You can focus in over there on the left-hand side. There we are. Promised you some elephants, and here we go. Now, I've already spoken quite a lot about our beautiful pachyderm friends, but I was wondering if maybe you all have some questions that you'd like to ask me about what we're seeing. I'll start talking a little bit, and then Catherine will just let me know if I'm in control. We've got a female here in front of us. Now, you're all going to ask me, how on earth do I know that's a female? Now, you can actually see beautifully there, the female, when she turns the side of her head, she's got a 90-degree angle on her forehead. A male is going to be much more round. Okay. There you can see she's using her trunk quite nicely. Okay. Now they're all down here drinking a bit of water. It is later in the afternoon here for us. I know that if you're in the States, it's probably earlier in the morning, and if you're in the UK, you're about an hour behind us. So this is a good time for them to come and start drinking. She's pushing a little bit. You've got her little one there behind the tree. They actually can only start using their trunk at about 2 years old. It takes that long for them to get their muscles up. Now, I've actually noticed that one of the females is going to come around the outside, up on the left hand. If Harmon wants to go over there, she's coming out of the water. Little one's in tow, and she's probably going to come up and feed. Now, we've got some nice mothers with young here. Female, of course only a female, but an elephant's pregnant for about 22 months, and then she nurses for 24 months. And they actually have mammary glands in front, just like humans do. Okay, it's not like with a rhino or like the Noelle that we saw earlier, where they're going to have a sort of udder in the back. And then if we pan over just to the right again, Harmon, we actually have our lovely lady friend has come to visit us. Now you can really see nicely that 90-degree angle. You can see she's got very, very long eyelashes, helps keep a lot of gunk out of her eyes, and big, big, big ears. Remember, a lot of their teeth comes out from behind. Now, as you can see, all of these elephants are quite comfortable with us. They're going to walk around. They might smell us a bit. They're very tactile. They like to touch. They like to smell. And they like to see what's going on. We're going to walk just behind our vehicle here. And let's listen for a bit. These large animals making almost no sound. Very good. Now we've got a young male who's coming up to the side of our car now. Now, aging elephants, it's all sort of relative, but you can also look at his eye, the way he's approaching us just there. He's checking us out. He wants to pretend he's all big and bad, but in fact, he's like a teenage boy, trying to be a little bit bigger than he is and kind of show off a bit. You weren't able to see it, but just at the edge that we were down here, we had a male that came through. He'll follow at the back of the herd, and then I have a sneaky suspicion. He walked actually right where Harmon's showing. He walked straight down here, and he's joined the rest of the breeding herd, which has come around behind us. And then if we pan back through this way, I'm willing to bet that that's a young male there. Okay, I'm willing to bet that he's about 15 to about 18 young male, maybe a little bit smaller. We could even go 14 to 18, let's say. And the reason why I say that is he knows that everybody is left. He knows perfectly well. And what he's going to do is he's going to sit here and he's going to munch. And then all of a sudden he's going to look up and sort of shake his head and go, oh no, where's mom? And kind of tootle on after the herd. Okay. Now he's actually doing something quite amazing. And you can see it beautifully on your screens. He's taken the sticks, put it in his mouth and rolled the bark off. There, you can see completely stripped of bark. Okay? And that's what they do. They roll all the bark off. An elephant has 6 sets of teeth throughout its life. It's got the milk teeth set, all right, that go away in the first few years. And then after that, they've got sets of teeth that last about 10 to 15 years, depending. There he is rolling there. And now he's going to run off a little bit. He realizes that mom is gone. Head in the air, tail out straight. He wants the rest of his family now. All right, well, it was a little bit brief, but I do have to say we got our elephants. Okay, I'm going to back up and reposition a little bit, and maybe we can't get another sighting. However, they have gone into the thicker bush. I think we actually got the best of it as they came straight past us. I just turn my car. A lot of what we do as guides is we have to position ourselves correctly. And so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and position us all for you to see this young male that just did that lovely show and watch his feeding behavior a little bit more. All right? Okay. And we're gonna listen a bit to the sounds we were talking about. Watch his trunk moving, stripping the bark off, eating the bark, very deftly picking up that stick. Okay. And when he walks away, you can actually see quite nicely the bottom of his feet. We also talked about that today, the tracks and all of that. Sorry, Harmon, I'm actually going to move up a little bit more. Please excuse my repositioning, everyone at home. Sometimes what happens is you get a really great view and then the animal will move just enough that you actually want to position again so that you can get the best of both worlds. And now what we've got is we've got this young boy here on our right crossing the road, and then we've got the whole family again up in front of us. Now if everyone's happy to stay with these Ellies, I would love to as well. And again, we are live at Juma Game Reserve. I'm Noelle, this is Safari TV. I've got Harmon on camera, and we are in 3D. Harmon, I'm gonna... We have a question from Jody. Jody was asking, other than their obvious size difference, how do you tell, I believe, the difference between male and female? How long do they live? And what is their best sense? Now, I'm going to keep driving a little bit forward so we can get a little bit better view. An elephant's best sense, I'm actually going to say it's a tie between their hearing and their sense of smell. Now, their eyesight is comparable to human eyesight, a little bit better than our own, and then their sense of hearing is quite acute. Obviously, they've got that very large trunk, very large ears, and then they've got that trunk that helps them to smell quite nicely. Now, that being said, sorry, I'm just gonna do the best we can here to keep our visual nice. Stop here and we'll just zoom in on our left over here. And these elephants moving down. How long do they live for? They live to about 60, 70 years. There are some records of some bulls living almost to 80, but comparable to the lifespan of a human, about 60, 70 years. There's different humans, different parts of the world, different societies that live a little bit longer, but roughly that. monkey. Hello everyone, how are you? There's a this elephant here, go to the left and go down, there's a leopard.
No
I'm not
way.
kidding you.
I see it.
Do you see it?
No way.
Okay, everyone, we've got a a leopard I've just found at the feet of these elephants. She's very relaxed. Well, somewhat relaxed for being here with elephants, and I just noticed her because she happened to move a little bit. So, yeah, you can see the little white tip of the tail. She looks a little bit nervous because that elephant's so close. Sorry, I love cats. Yeah, I'm quite elated right now. I'm going to let you all watch for a minute. We're going to see what she's going to do, and then we'll see if we can't get a better visual. What road are we on?
I know what this road is called.
Station that was just in the Noelle sighting by Biffleshoek Dam coming for Noelle. Yeah, all stations. I've got one Ingwe. I'm not sure if it's Mafazi Medora, but I've got one Ingwe with the Schlambi of Noelle here at Biffleshoek Dam. She's just on the... Oh, yeah, she's just right here. She's about a few meters from the Noelle. Copy that. Alright everyone, well, we came out looking for Big Five, and we came out looking for elephants, and we have just been so lucky, and there's just something I want you all to notice, is the fact that we've been sitting here for a while, and another game drive vehicle was actually also here, and we couldn't see this cat. Do you remember earlier we talked about the long grass and the way things are? Now what I'm actually going to try and do, I'm going to let Harmon zoom in. I'm going to let you all get a good look at that. See that white tip of the tail actually means she's a little bit agitated. I say she, but just from the size that I'm seeing now, the best way to tell would be the male bits in the back that are a little bit yellow, which we can't see right now. And then I'll have Harmon zoom out a bit, and I'm going to reposition the vehicle. I'd like us to get a good visual before anyone else comes in. Alright. And if you just give me a little bit of time. Sorry viewers, we are going to leave the elephants. This leopard is too good to give up. I was just very fortunate for the last 7 months to be working with a woman who knows quite a lot about leopard, and she taught me quite a bit. And our own Will Fox, who is our boss here, is also working on a leopard project, and this happens to be one of the most... Sorry, last station, come back, excuse me.
Noelle, it's Bernie here. Can I join and respond to that data?
That's an A-firm. I've got one station coming in. I'm not sure if you allow 2 or 3 stations in Ingwe sightings. If you allow 3, you're more than welcome to come through. Okay, sorry about that, Mark. Just told me you can come through. You can come through.
So, what's the basic catch on this little cut line in front of Gary Mine? Not Gary Mine, but this is a cut line from the, what's it, the eastern side.
Benny, I came from Cheetah Cut Line, and I took the second access to Biffleshoek. When you get to the dam from there, I took a right and went up that little cut line. I'm not quite sure of the name. I can see the dam from here, and I will get your audio. I can guide you through. No, that's a negative. What's this road, Harmon?
I'm not sure.
I think it's going to be Liverpool Lodge or...
No, it's not.
That's exactly.
Biffleshoek Dam East.
Harmon's telling me it's Bifflehook Dam East. Bifflehook's Dam East. Sorry about the radio confusion. Excuse me, guys. Alright, sorry viewers. One of the things that you need to realize is that whenever we find something, we share it with everybody else, whether we be Safari TV or the guys at Juma, anyone else that can drive, and something like a leopard, all the guests want to see. And we were very lucky. We were very lucky to find her, and she's seeming quite relaxed, but also quite interested, and it's also good for us to share with everybody else. So we've got you at home, and then we've also got some folks here. Oh, there's a yawn. Before cats start to move, they yawn, and then they'll yawn, and then they'll stretch, and then they'll get up. A leopard will keep walking. A lion will most likely lie back down. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just really chuffed. I'm so happy that all of you could be here with me for my very first drive here with Safari TV at Juma and finding this leopard. It's two movers. When the first vehicle gets in, they're coming through now. I will leave to let some other guys come through. Okay, copy that, Mark. Sorry. Station, if you come in on my right-hand side, you're going to get a nice visual of her just through this. You're very welcome. Hello, everyone. How are you? All right. Now, something that we haven't had a chance to talk about, you can actually see it nicely. You can see her ears in the back, and you can see her rump quite well, is that cheetahs have spots and leopards have rosette. A rosette is sort of a wavy with a light-colored mark, and a spot will be solid black. Now, I'm going to let us get a little bit more time with this leopard. Beautiful, beautiful leopard in Shangaan. It's actually known as an Ingwe. Because we've got two other vehicles that have come through, and unfortunately there's another few who'd like to see her, but there's a stunning view for everyone. There she stretches, and actually, did you see that lift of the tail?
Yeah.
And there was yellow underneath, so I think it might be a young male, which, for my viewers at home, I don't know if you probably do know a lot more than I do. Lula's got two sons. This might be one of her younger sons. But you must tell me, as you're part of this family longer than I've been. Alright, he's going to walk down towards the drainage line. Going to get some last few minutes. Alright, all stations, I'm going to be leaving this Ingwe. Looks like a young Madura Ingwe. I'm leaving two vehicles in this lot. We are by Biffleshoek Dam. I believe I'm Biffleshoek East, but I will hand it over to someone who knows the area. Thanks. Alright, everyone. In our long-base vehicle, and that right there, everyone at home, I'm just going to let you know, that's what we call beginner's luck in the business. Brand new person, brand new property, and we got ourselves a leopard, which is all I wanted today, and it's all I wanted to share with you, so thank you very much. I don't know, maybe we've got a few questions, again, live at Juma Game Reserve, here in the Sabi Sands with Safari TV. I've got Harmon on camera, also my wonderful tracker, excuse me. We've got Catherine as director. I've also got Mark listening in, and I'm Noelle. Here's a guest presenter for everyone at home. I just got a question from Deborah, and it's actually a fantastic question. Deborah asked, if the elephants had noticed the leopard, would they make the leopard leave? Now, Deborah, I'm going to answer your question in two parts. One is I'm actually going to digress from leopard for a second and go to lion. Elephants do not like lion, and they will chase them away, far, far, far away, so they just go. And they will do it repeatedly, repeatedly. Lions are known to try and eat small elephants. Now, lions, a good-sized female lion will weigh about 180 to 200 kgs. That's pushing it on the big scale. And then you'll get a male, a full-grown male, about 240 to 260. So basically what I'm letting you know is the size is there. Now, opposed to a young male like we just saw now, who's most likely about around 50 kgs, a female leopard will basically be around 45, 50 tops, and then a really big male leopard will be at about 90. Harmon, do you want to go here? Okay. Be at about 90. So it's a third to half the size of a lion. Okay. So because leopards are about a third to half the size of a lion, they also occupy a different niche. They tend to stalk, pounce, and then pull prey to a tree or under a bush. They hunt different things. They're not going to hunt a small baby elephant. And I actually think that the elephants know that. This is the second time in my career I've seen a leopard this close to elephants, and elephants has done nothing. I'm pretty sure that those elephants knew she was, or excuse me, him. We did see the yellow under the bun there, so it is a young male. I'm pretty sure that those elephants knew he was there, and they just weren't bothered. It's not, they don't feel that it's a threat. Because remember as well, earlier in the show, we talked about dominance and submissive behavior. That leopard was lying down. It's not going for anything. He was a little bit agitated with the tail up. But all in all, they both carried on with their lives. He went one way and they went the other. I think that on the odd chance, I've never heard of it happening. I don't really think it's a big possibility. If, let's say, a large male leopard did try to attack a baby elephant, I think that the elephants would definitely have something to say. But for now, it's not really seen as a threat. You also probably get leopard very close to rhino without the rhino doing much. However, rhino and lion, again, same story. I've watched rhinos run away from the scent of lion, and I've also watched them charge lions and try and push them off and away. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much. I've got a question from Liz. Liz heard me say that I started calling it a female and then said, but I would have to check for a yellow patch under the tail. I've never heard that before. Liz, really good question. There's many different ways to try and sex animals. Now, my way of sexing them, when I say yellow under the tail, it's a very polite way of saying that the color skin around the leopard's testicles has a yellowish color. So when that tail goes up, if you see that yellowish color, you're basically seeing, because sometimes it's very quick. Not all of the time are you going to get a very prolonged tail up, and you can definitely see the male bits. And so that yellow color, which I did see, also Harmon saw, indicates that it is in fact a male. The absence of that yellow color means the absence of male parts of testes, and therefore it would be a female. And especially with a cat that size, that's either going to be a very large female or a small male. Turns out it was a small male. And that's just a trick I've picked up guiding in my career. I hope that answers well enough. Let me know if it didn't, and you can send in another question. I'll address it again. On this right here. Sorry, everyone, I'm so excited about that leopard you saw. Oh, leopards and elephants in one sighting. I think you all have made my day. Alright, now as we're driving through, on our right hand side, you can obviously see on our screen, on your screen there at home, it looks a little bit different. It's a little bit blackened. Alright, this is what's called a fire break. It's September now. We're entering into our fire season. Now, where I went to university in Montana, we get a wicked fire season there in the summertime. Now, for us, this is the time now. And it's one of those things where you don't want a large fire to come through and completely burn this area, because then there will be absolutely nothing to eat. It will be very difficult for the animals. The animals might move off into another part of the park where we won't be able to see them. And so by having a fire break like this, only a small little portion, it encompasses the road. It makes it maybe 80 meters, give or take a few meters, so that if a fire were to come from either side, it actually can't, what's called, jump. It can't jump over here. There's actually something in front of us, Harman. I don't know if you saw it better than I did. I would like to go and investigate. It was... Oh, it's a duiker! We were talking about duikers earlier. Running around just up here. Duiker, a favorite food of leopard. The only leopard kill I've ever seen in my career was actually a female killing a duiker, and I have to say, to this day, it still gives me a very, very big thrill. A duiker is a perfect size meal for a leopard. There he goes. Grayish in color. Not too sure how well you saw him. He did run off quite quickly. One way to tell, he's going to be just up here. I'm going to try and stop and see if we can't get a view of him. If you were with us this morning, Jared did show you, but if you weren't with us this morning, I'll show you one now. Stop just here. And just let me know if you
Right a little bit back.
A little bit back. Let me know. Okay. There he goes there. Black nose. The females have no horns. The males have tiny little horns. And they're the grayish in color, as I said. They're bigger than a steenbok. A steenbok, also the males have little horns. The females have none. And the steenbok are red in color. Duiker eats leaves. The steenbok will eat more grass. We did talk about the duiker being the only antelope that actively eats meat. But what I want to get with the differences there is we get the duiker, you get the steenbok, you get a dik-dik, which is the smallest of them, and then you get a klipspringer, which is sort of in between a duiker and a steenbok. And all of them, the females are all larger than the males, because the females have to carry the baby. For a duiker and a steenbok and a klipspringer, those babies weigh less than 1 kilogram. It's a very, very tiny one. And that's one of the reasons why the females need to be a little bit bigger. They need a little bit more body weight on them. So if you see a large one like we just saw now, no horns, you definitely know it's a female. I've just heard that many of our viewers at home with us today have decided amongst themselves that the young male leopard we see is a young male leopard by the name of Induna. All of you at home that follow us here, follow our family at Safari TV, are going to know more than I know about that. You're new, you guys have been around, you know a lot more. Now, a young male, I'd be interested to know how old Induna is, maybe for one of our viewers, someone that's been following the timeline a bit. For me, because I didn't see the face, I couldn't give you what's known as a spot ID pattern. What cats will get is just on the side here, they've got a row, and then just above it, they might have 1, 2, or nothing, or 3 or 4, and you take each side, and it's what's known as a spot pattern. You can get a 1, 1, you can get a 0, 0, you can get a 3, 2, you can get a 4, 1. There's also something in the road up there, very cat-like in appearance. Alright, I just got information that Induna is 22 months, and I would agree that that leopard there looks like about a 22-month-old leopard. Thank you to my viewers at home pointing it out. I hope we'll get a lot more chances for you to teach me about our cats here on the property. Now, I did see something cross the road up here. It was walking a bit like a cat. I have to say that if we do see another cat now, hands in the air, I'm going to say this is one of the most beautiful properties I've worked at. But let's go have there. Did you see it up there? Alright, we're going to go have a look and see what it possibly could be. You never know, it could be something else. Sometimes your eye catches, but you can tell from a distance what an animal might be, even if it's brief, by the way that they walk. It's not, again, not always 100%. Sorry, just excuse me as I concentrate while we go down this hill a little bit. It's not always 100%, but again, we're coming to the river line, perfect for cats. We had the male walk tracks that we saw earlier. We know, or I was today, I walk right across here, hey? Can I go straight?
Good.
Alright, so we were talking about the way animals walk. Now, look at, for any of my viewers at home, if you have a cat, watch how your cat walks, and then watch how your cats on TV walk. Watch how an impala walks, and sort of compare the difference. Now, what I saw across the road just here, I actually think I might have accidentally just drawn over my tracks, but it went just in here, so I would like everyone maybe just help me out with your 3D TV. It's a lion. What is that? Two hyenas. It's two spotted hyenas. Can I drive across the fire break? I'm going to drive across the fire break. I've got two spotted hyenas for you. Now, we had a question this morning asking about the hyena den. Now we can actually talk about whether or not these are male or female. Harmon, what's this road ahead? This one up ahead. All stations, I've got two Nisi on Biblical Cut Line. Alright, sorry, I'm going to try and get over to those hyenas best I can so that we can get a view. Now, I get a lot of questions, is a hyena a cat or a dog? Well, it's put into the dog family, but it is actually most closely related to mongoose. Okay, now unfortunately we can't go here. What I am going to try and do is position our vehicle as best we can, see if we can't see them. There they are, just here off the side of the road for us. Fantastic! They're doing what? Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. And off they run, just here. I'm gonna let Harmon pull out a little bit, and then I'm gonna move forward as best I can. Now, spotted hyenas, I know that you asked me earlier, what's your favorite animal? And I said, elephants! And then I said, okay, if I have to pick something else, I'm gonna pick honey badger. And now I'm gonna tell you spotted hyenas are also one of my favorites, because it is. I have to say, they're absolutely fascinating. They thought for a long time that hyenas were hermaphrodites. They are not actually hermaphrodites. What's happened, I don't know, Harmon, if you can get her coming on top of that turn mount. I think this is going to be the best visual that I can get for you all today, unfortunately. So sorry. Just missed it. Hyenas aren't actually, in fact, hermaphrodites. What's basically happened is the female genital organ has just sort of elongated itself to simulate a male genital organ. And then basically what we saw the hyena do when it was crouching here, it was doing an anal pasting. Now, hyenas have this sort of, it's an anal gland at the back of the bum, and what they do is they turn it inside out, and they walk over one stalk of grass, and they leave a pasting. Now, a spotted hyena leaves one scent. Spotted hyenas hunt in packs and live in clans. A brown hyena is more of a solitary scavenger. They don't hunt as much, but then a brown hyena will also live in a clan. Sorry, I just caught another view. There's always a possibility there could be more hyenas. And so they turn that anal gland inside out, and they walk over, and they put the scent mark. Now, the spotted hyena, as I said, has one. The brown hyena has two. They took 2 pastings. The one pasting basically says from the spotted hyena, "This is my territory, get out." Alright, for any other clans that might be around, get out. Now that smell can last up to 6 months. It is a really, if it's fresh, like I'm sure this one is, it's really stinky. I'm going to leave it at that. Now brown hyena has one that goes dark and one that stays white. One of them says, "This is sort of where I traverse my territory." The other one is basically saying, "I was here 3 weeks ago. If you happen into this area, don't bother scavenging. There's not going to be anything here." Alright, my viewers, we're doing not so bad, hey? Not so bad. Alright. So big termite mound on that side. Again, we had questions about a den earlier. Unfortunately, couldn't really see if those were male or female. The best way you can really tell male from female is to be very close to the spotted, pushing 70 kilograms. I'm going to say 65, 62 to 65, but a big one pushes a little bit more. 50. Sorry about that. Went through a little bit of a dippy-doo, but we're back. And I have actually lost my train of thought, unfortunately. But we can carry on with the spotted hyena. Spotted hyena actually really interesting. We can tie it back to the very beginning of Drive. We talk about Sangomas, the magic people of South Africa, the witch doctors, if you will. And people here actually believe that hyenas are a very evil, wicked creature, and that witches and Sangomas will ride on the back of hyenas, and they're sort of a magical, quite scary thing. And a lot of that comes down to the way that they laugh. That the spotted hyena has that giggling. I'm sure a lot of our viewers have probably seen Lion King. It sounds very, very similar to that, and it's an eerie sound. They can also make a funny sound that sounds a little bit human, almost baby crying. Again, please don't ask me to impersonate animals. You'll just end up plugging your ears. And it leads to a lot of stories. They also have that funny sloping back, and you actually could see the gait nicely, the way that they walked. Hyenas are built for endurance. They're built very heavy in front, and then that sloping back, and so they can run and run and run. A hyena can't run as fast as a lion. A lion can run at about 80 kilometers an hour for about 100 meters. A leopard can get up to about 90 kilometers an hour. I'm also going to say only for about 100, 200 meters. Basically, that would be a lion's charging speed is about 22.1 meters a second, and a leopard's about 23. But a hyena only reaches about 45 kilometers an hour. But they can run that 45 kilometers an hour for kilometer after kilometer after kilometer after kilometer after kilometer. Now, one of the other reasons why they're built so heavy in front is that hyenas have what's known as a very large sagittal crest. For any of my viewers that have a dog at home, especially if you've got a bigger dog, like a Doberman or a Rottweiler, you can feel they've got a ridge on top of their head. That's called a sagittal crest. Now, the hyenas have the largest sagittal crest of any of the mammal family, because because they've got a lot of tendons and muscles they have to anchor to run that really powerful jaw. The torque in a hyena's jaw is astounding. I actually can't give you any figures on that off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up, but it really is something powerful. Estimeo just asked, is there a remarkable difference between a male lion and a female lion's weight? Now, as I said before, a female lion is going to weigh about 160 to about 180. I've actually worked with one or two females that push 200, but that's a big female. That's a very big female. Now, a male lion is going to weigh about 240 to 260. Again, I've worked with a male a bit bigger. In his prime, he weighed about 280, close to 300, but again, that's a huge, huge male lion. So you're looking at about, let's say, 160 for a female, 260 for a male. That's about 100 kilogram difference. So it's definitely remarkable. You also get a lot of sexual dimorphism, as we talked about earlier, the differences between male and female. A male lion's been the main, as I'm sure we all know, and the female doesn't, although there have been recorded instances of females growing smaller manes with the testosterone levels. But then the other part of the sexual dimorphism is actually the size. If you look at humans, for instance, men tend to be a bit bigger and women tend to be a bit smaller. That would be our sexual dimorphism. And so yes, definitely, males are a lot bigger than females. Hope that answers your question. Roughly about 10 minutes left in our live broadcast here at Juno Safari TV. Again, I'm Noelle. I've got Autumn here on camera with me. We've had some great sightings. We've had some Nyala, zebra, some impala, and beautiful elephants, and lucky with that leopard. And to top it all off, we've just seen 2 spotted hyenas. So before we sign off, send us an email. Catherine, if you can just send me that email again. I'm sorry, my mind is just drawing a blank. Oh, all right, we got it. It's final control at safari.tv. Please excuse me. And again, I'm the guest presenter for today. This was my interview, so I hope you all have been enjoying, and just let me know in our final few moments. Maybe we'll bump something, who knows, if you've got any questions. From Deb, she asks, who would win in a competition of endurance, hyenas or wild dogs? And Deb, that's a really fantastic question. Thanks for answering that. Now, as I said before, hyenas are made for endurance. They run and run and run, kilometer after kilometer after kilometer. Wild dogs, however, the way that they run is very quickly, and they cover distances like this. But a wild dog needs to rest up a little bit more from hyenas. Now, I say that, Deb, from my own personal experience, and my personal experience with wild dogs comes from reintroduced wild dogs, and some of those reintroduced wild dogs were hand-raised. Now, I would be actually interested myself to know, in a wild population that's been untouched, not raised, not helped out by man at any time, will that actually affect the way that they hunt? My theory on that, off the top of my head, I'm going to say no. An animal's instinct is pretty good. But for me, a spotted hyena is going to win out in that endurance. A wild dog is going to cover a larger distance in a shorter amount of time, but a spotted hyena is going to get there. Now, a brown hyena, walking and running, can outdo both of them. A brown hyena, I once worked with a brown hyena who was caught in a snare. He was relocated. He was only kept in the boma for a couple of days. They've got very strong homing beacon hyenas, and he walked. Next day he broke out and walked/ran 300 kilometers back home. So hope that answers your question. Everyone, we're losing a little bit of light. Unfortunately for us, our light is depleting quicker because of the cloud cover. It makes everything go quite dull and gray. But because of this cloud cover and a little bit of wind, the predators are out in abundance. It'd be nice maybe if we can find some lions quickly on our way home. We actually only have about 7-8 minutes left with all of you here in our 3D live broadcast from Juma with Safari TV. Again, I'm guest presenter Noelle, Harman on camera, but he's also been my tracker for the day and spotter of the hyenas. Thank you, Armin. And we've got some time for some more questions while I'm bumbling a bit to see if we can't find you one last tidbit to tide you over until tomorrow morning, where Jared will be doing a drive as far as I know. Right, Leslie in Texas has just asked, or she's pointed out and then asked, that a hyena's sloping back is similar to that of a German Shepherd. Are they related? Excellent question, Leslie. Now, a German Shepherd will be in the canine family, all right, Canidae, and the hyenas for a long time were actually put into the cat family, Feliformis, or Feliformidae, excuse me, my Latin endings in my taxonomy is a little bit off, but hyenas are actually most closely related to a mongoose. Not a dog, not really a cat, they're more related to the mongoose side. And unfortunately, off the top of my head right now, I have just pulled a Noelle moment and drawn a blank about what family that would be, but I'm sure we've got some viewers at home who would quickly look up what family the mongoose are in. I think that the reason why you might see that a German Shepherd has a sloping back similar to that of a hyena would be that remember, German Shepherd is sort of not really a hunting dog, but it's a big dog, an attack dog. They also need endurance. They also have a lot of muscles in their jaw, a lot of torque, very similar to a hyena. So they're also going to have a bit of a large sagittal crest and also thicker muscles where more, thicker shoulders, excuse me, where a lot of the muscles have to attach themselves. And I hope that answers your question. Alright, we've turned the front lights on and the spotlight a bit, help with our camera a little bit. It's actually darker on screen than it is right now for us. The whole point of us being here is so that you all can enjoy safari from the comfort of home. So we are trying to make that a little bit easier, but it's also a good time, because of this cloud cover, it's a good time of night to put the spotlight on, because what we're going to start looking for is not necessarily the whole animal, but the reflection of the eyes off the animal. Now, as a rule of thumb, it's not 100%, but as a rule of thumb, a nocturnal, an animal that moves at night, their eyes will shine red. Unless it's a lion or a leopard, then they tend to have more of a golden tinge. And then a diurnal being a daytime moving animal, their eyes will shine green in the spotlight. Now, it's not always 100%. A lot of the times, if I've, again, back to the hyenas, if I've had hyenas, but they're farther up the road, say 100 meters, oh no, maybe not 100 meters, about 80 meters, their eyes will shine green. And then that's when you start looking, how does the animal react to your spotlight? Is it staring straight ahead, or is it carrying on with a usual movement? For those of you at home, if you've ever heard the phrase deer in headlights look, a deer is a daylight animal, very similar to our antelopes. The headlights make them freeze, whereas a nocturnal animal, like an owl or our lions and leopards here, they'll look into the light, away from the light, through the light. The light doesn't really bother them as much as it will for a daytime animal. Alright, well, we're getting back into a little bit more quiet area of the bush. Again, just to recap, maybe you've just joined us, you've been with us the whole show. We've seen beautiful zebra, impala, male nyala, nice breeding herd of elephants, our lucky leopard, and our 2 spotted hyenas. And we've done a little bit of trees, some birds. We've had a pretty all-around game drive. Again, my name's Noelle. We're live in 3D from Juma. I've got Harmon with me on camera, also my trucker, as I've said before. And we're busy trying to see if there's 1 or 2 last things we can find for you before, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave you for the evening. It's daytime in some places, it's about an hour behind us in some others, and then for us here, it's coming on to nighttime and the end of our show. Alright, I'm just gonna get through this dip a little bit. We'll see what's on the other side. Maybe squeeze in 1 or 2 more questions if there's anyone. Final control at safari.tv. Everyone, I'm going to just get around this corner here, and then unfortunately, folks at home, I'm going to have to say goodnight. So to everyone at home,
There's a little bit of light in your face, so
So to everyone at home, thank you very much for joining us for 3 hours of live 3D TV with Safari TV at Juma Game Reserve here in Sabi Sands in South Africa. Again, my name is Noelle. We've had Armin on camera, and we've had Catherine in as director today in Final Control. I've been a guest presenter on my interview, and I've had a blast. It's been an experience of a lifetime. I really hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope that you'll come and join us again in the morning and for many more safaris here with Safari TV. Thank you, and I hope you all have an excellent evening.